This is LifeStyles Live, where we're leading the nation in providing help, hope, and transformation. Please join our host, Sandy Washington, Gina McCullough, Deborah Collins, Jasmine Waring, and our amazing guests for an exciting and inspirational show.
Well, hello, and thanks for joining us again for LifeStyles Live. Today I'm here with Sandy Washington, Executive Director of LifeStyles, Gina McCullough, and Deborah Collins. And of course, I'm Jasmine Waring. We wanted to take a step back today, though, to talk to you about what LifeStyles means to us, what brought us here, the service that we provide, also the impact on the community, and maybe even more importantly, the community's impact on us. So let's take a step back, though, and just understand that a little bit better. Yeah. Can one of y'all share a little bit about yourself and what it means to you?
Well, I know when I started with LifeStyles hosting the Safe Nights program, a lot of that had to do with my daughter, who is now 15. She was 2, as the last episode we had. We had some kids that started when they were 2 as well. And we walked into Safe Nights and she said, "Mom, why do they have to sleep here?" And that was really telling of a child's point of view and how we could enhance her learning from that and work together. And she's actually worked with LifeStyles now since she was 2
years old.
And that's just made a huge impact on her and what she can do in her community.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, we're knee deep in it, but there's many people who spend a lot of hours on the road every single day who aren't familiar with LifeStyles at all and are not familiar with Safe Nights. So can you tell us a little bit more about Safe Nights?
Well, the Safe Nights program, and you can chime in whenever you need to, but the Safe Nights program is a program to house the homeless in this county, and it is hosted mainly by churches, but over the years it's become bigger and bigger, so other organizations will host as well. So individuals that do not have a place to lay their head will come to those churches or facilities at 7 p.m., and then they will be there until 7 a.m., and during that time they will receive a nice hot dinner, a place to stay, a shower. The next morning they will have a nice breakfast. And then after that, we will provide them with a lunch to go out during their day. And it's very nice to see almost all of our facilities now and helpers will give them a lunch, because if you go out from 7 a.m. and you don't come back in until 7 p.m., you get a little hungry in the midday.
Yes,
Definitely get hungry in the midday. And it initially started running from November 1st, if I remember correctly.
November
Originally
1st.
November 1st and would end at March. And then we realized it's cold into March, and so it's been expanded over the years.
Yeah, so we run from October 1st to mid-April. And in the process of opening a second shelter that would be, that would run all year long. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's sometimes humbling to know that this type of work is being done and how many people need this type of work. And for me, I have young children. I work a full-time job, but I've been wanting to be more intentional about exposing them to what's going on around them. Because I don't know if you all can relate, but it seems like a lot of times as we're raising children, they really know what they know, yes. And they're a product of their environment. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I have been pretty intentional about sheltering our kids with good intentions. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking we're really wanting to peel back the layers of that a little bit, just so they can have a true appreciation for what life is like for some other children or adults. To make them well-rounded and have a better appreciation for the fact that they're blessed, but the fact that they could also help others.
Right. And we saw with the kids last week how excited they were and how 2 years old. 2 years old they start. So having that exposure to a point is very beneficial, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with myself coming here and what LifeStyles mean to me, I said on the last show what LifeStyles means to me and how I got here. But just to tell you a little bit about myself, I came here as a single parent. My oldest son was 7 years old, and he's now 32 years old. Don't do the math. I'm still young. However,
As our last guest said,
right.
and holding.
Right, and holding. That's right. I'm something and holding. And just like you said, making them well-rounded. And I definitely sheltered my son. I was almost thinking I want him to be homeschooled, but then I said, no, I'm going to. And coming from New Jersey, I had a fit because here middle school starts at 5th grade, 6th grade.
6th grade.
And in New Jersey, it starts at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, who thought of that? He's a 6th grader and he's coming to a new environment. So of course I was having a fit, but he fit in well. He went to William B. Wade Elementary School when he came here. And just being a single mom and trying to find out about places and where to get sources and resources from, it was a lot. And I did come across LifeStyles. The blessing was that I was working full time and I was good. I also did Mary Kay part time. But it helped a lot. So you have to think as, first of all, young, and then a single parent. How can I do these things? And everything is baby steps, including this show.
Yes.
So we have to start somewhere. But the blessing was I had enough for like 3 months out. You know, I was thinking this through. It was the loss of my mom brought me here because I wanted to start somewhere different and I wanted to try something new. So I had 3 months up. So it really helped me within that time to be able to pay rent, have food on the table. Thank God I didn't need social services or anything like that because I had the money saved. And
you're a hustler.
And you know that coming from New Jersey, really,
Yeah.
right. So keeping it real, that's what I was doing, and that's where the Mary Kay came in. And I said, "Oh wait, this sounds like money too." I was like those little kids from last week. Go fund me. So it really brought me to a place where it was a blessing to raise my son and to see him grow. And now he's in New York doing all kinds of stuff, doing this kind of stuff and more. And then I get here and fell in love. I just had to say that.
Because that's the only reason we do this.
And then two more
really
amazing kids.
She really found a husband.
That came from LifeStyles too, but that's another show. But then having my other 2 children and doing the same thing, I still felt the need to want to shelter these children because I was like, this world is, the older I get, the world is getting crazier. But they turned out to be amazing kids.
Absolutely.
I still have one more 14-year-old, and she's still got me pulling her to the side where I want to homeschool her. But ever since she was 4 years old, she was always telling, she has always been telling Sandy, I want to do stuff for homeless, and I want to be able to, the little bag thing, that's why the story with the young lady from last show, Imani, brought me back to my daughter because she wanted to do lunch bags and all kinds of stuff. So
well,
it was just
what
amazing.
I go back to hearing all these wonderful things about young people that grew up and were exposed to LifeStyles and those that are now seeing other things and being a part of it. And sometimes you don't think about what happens. I can recall. We just do this, every day we kind of just do this. We keep moving. People are in need. You go help them and you keep going. And it was Christmas Eve one year, and Safe Nights was at one of the churches in Waldorf. Unfortunately, my daughter and I, one of my daughters, we were running around trying to get last minute things because when you work for LifeStyles, you don't get to shop or do anything until that day. And online, yeah. So we were running around trying to do some things, and then all of a sudden we see all of these police cars on Route 228, and instinctively I told my daughter to slow down. At the same time, my phone rang, and I had one of the staff said one of our participants in the Safe Nights program had just gotten hit by a car. How God would have it is that we arrived at the same scene at the same time that this was happening, and we needed to identify the body because we were the only people that this gentleman had. So we identified the body. My daughter was with me. We stayed there. Of course, anybody that's gone through any of this, the coroner has to come from Baltimore. They have to come and actually examine the site and pick up the body. And what an experience. But we then went to the church, which was right. We would walk right to the church. And I wanted to talk to the people that were there, the people that this gentleman had become a part of their lives. Because if you think about it, through Safe Nights, this is where he was coming every night. He was elderly, so they would help him on and off the bus and get to where he needed to go. And so we went to calm them. At the same time, I was looking for my daughter. And I'm like, where did she go? And I came out into the entry of the church. And there she sat, just weeping, just doubled over weeping. And I didn't understand what was happening. I said to her, what's wrong? She said, that could be us. That could be my family. And she was looking at the little baby that was sitting in the high chair and the mom and dad that was there with her. And she said, where would they be without Safe Nights? And it hit me. Because we do this all the time. We don't think about
We don't think
this.
about it.
This is real.
And she's like, and I'm thinking, you're my daughter. I mean, this is not new for you. We've been doing this 20-something years. What do you think? But she had never been exposed to it to that degree. And I started thinking about that. And if you think about this show and you think about what we're trying to do, we just keep doing it. But sometimes people have to know what you're doing.
Right.
They have to really feel it and understand what's taking place, because it's not just doing the work. It's working the lives. It's working with the people that, nobody seems to hear. Nobody seems to know that they exist. And being able to bring their voices out so that people can hear them. They can hear their needs. They can hear their wants. And they can help them and give them the tools to move forward. If I think about LifeStyles Live, and one of the reasons we're here is to be that voice, to advocate for the people that nobody wants to hear, nobody wants to do anything for, or people may want to do something, but they just don't know what. So we need to share that, tell that story, and keep it moving so that people know that we're dealing with lives and we're dealing with people. And that is the part of the help that we need to talk about, the help that we need to, convey to our community that's needed for individuals. And it doesn't have to come through LifeStyles. It can come through any of our partners to make that happen. So, but here we are today. As we've talked about that, we are really fortunate to have another guest, and we'll chit chat a little bit afterwards. But I want to be able to bring our guests on. And Jazz, you want to tell us a little bit about who's coming?
I do. We are excited to also highlight the good that's going on in the community and highlight what folks are doing. And so I want to bring a guest up today. Her name is Gabrielle Hunt, and she's going to talk to us about her experiences with DI, also known as Destination Imagination.
Okay.
Gabby, can you come on up?
Sit right there. I'm going to put you right in the middle.
Yeah, just
Gabby.
get comfortable.
There you go.
We're happy to have Gabrielle Hunt here today. She's here to talk to us about DI, also known as Destination Imagination. So thanks, Gabby, for coming.
You're welcome.
We're so glad to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what DI is?
So DI is just like about working together, working with the team, and like learning more about each other and how each other like to build and how to make stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm. To me, it speaks to that whole transformation. Ms. Washington was speaking about hope, help, and transformation. And what I see from DI is you guys are transforming things and building things and working together as a team. What's some of the most fun things or most challenging things you've done as it relates to building something?
Probably for this year when we have to build a bridge out of cards and duct tape.
Whoa. A bridge out of cards and duct tape?
That's the only thing we can use.
Playing cards.
Yeah.
Pictures. We need to bring the pictures in because my son that I was mentioning, that's 32 years old, he had the opportunity to do that. And I can imagine that destination.
Wow. So how far are you into the project? Are you at a design level? Or?
We have, well, it's kind of hard because, like, they're playing cards, so they're flimsy. So, like, it's kind of challenging, but the builders that we have, I think that we're pretty far into it, and we already have our design and stuff. Because the competition is the 28th.
28th of
March.
March 28th. That's right around the corner. Okay. So have you started this process? I mean, is there an actual physical thing that's happening?
I mean, yeah.
What are the steps that leads up to the date?
We have to write a story and work. We have been practicing instant challenges that we have to do. So it's like, it's just a lot on us because we're only in 7th grade. So it's kind of...
What's an instant challenge?
Right, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
What's
So
an
it's
instant
like-
challenge?
They give us a bunch of like random materials that we have to build to make. Sometimes the bridge, sometimes it's you have to go fishing for something, but we have to build everything with like paper clips, straws, mailing labels, and
How much
like,
time do you have to do that? It sounds like an instant challenge. It means you have to do it quickly.
The whole thing is about under 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. I can't get ready in the morning and under 15.
I know. Get real the bridge.
Now, my question, when you have after your finished project, you said the competition is on March 28th, correct?
February.
February 28th.
Oh,
That's my birthday.
Just throw that in.
That's another show. How do they judge the projects?
For the instant challenge, they judge teamwork, if it works or not. And for the central challenge, which is like the story and the script and stuff, they judge that as our props. They judge like our lines, and we have a team choice element that we have to do and stuff. So we have I don't know which one it was, but we have our friend Grace, she made a hat out of cardboard and playing cards. And that's like really hard because
I can imagine.
you build it out of cards.
Yeah.
So I see you wearing a cast. How are you working that out?
Not very good.
That's a challenge in itself.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Like last year, I think I had either a wrist brace or a knee brace on for at least all of the competitions.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And you know, Gabby, I must say, my son and Gabby are on the same team, so I've got an inside lens. But one of the things I like is seeing you guys work together and solve problems when there's no answer.
Yeah.
There's no playbook. There's no direction on how to do it because you guys may or may not realize it, but it's preparing you for life. When things happen and there's no answer, there's no solution, you've got a problem. And that's what reminds me of LifeStyles and that whole transformation thing, because sometimes it's going to be like DI. Like DI is going to be real life when you become an adult.
Right.
And our hope is that those problem-solving skills, that creativity, that collaboration, that will to figure it out when there's no instructions, our hope is that gives you guys some skills that's going to be able to help you guys drive innovation in the future, but also be a benefit and help change Charles County for the positive. Yeah.
Now, are all the members from Charles County for this team?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay. And are there other teams in Southern Maryland? That
Yes,
you
there's
compete
a lot
against?
of
A lot
teams.
of teams. Yeah.
There's a lot of schools that are.
So by the time we air this show, you would have already won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we want to be able to share that at some point with our audience and be able to show what happens when you're dedicated and do that. And then I actually want to see that bridge made out of cards.
Take a lot of
Pictures or videos.
And duct tape, you know?
Yeah.
It sounds like a MacGyver show. I mean, really, it's incredible that and the skills that are learned through that. I appreciate what you're doing. How do you have time to do all that? Is that during the school day, after the school day?
We usually do Fridays or Wednesdays, and it's like about 3:30 to 4:30, like once a week.
Wow. Yeah.
And she plays sports.
Yep.
And she's a black belt in Taekwondo, so she fit that in.
Was that how the cast got here?
I don't even know.
Okay, another show.
You said volleyball, and what's your other sport?
Soccer.
Volleyball and soccer.
soccer.
And Taekwondo and school and Destination Imagination.
Could you leave something for some other people to do? Just a little something for other folks to do is good. So this has been good. I'm excited to see these young folks. The team, how many on your team?
7.
7. So 7 of you get to build this bridge and make this happen. Anything else you want to share with us?
Not really.
I'm tired of being in that hot seat. What's going on? Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we wish you all well in the tournament.
Yes,
Okay.
good luck.
Good luck.
So it was really nice to have Gabby here to represent herself and her DI team. And it really means a lot because we're talking about hope, help, and transformation here. But then when we look at it in a different way, when we're helping, when kids are doing their own thing in their own organizations, fostering those same skills, it just really reinforces the benefit there. And so it's really nice to see that with the children. And so we want to transition, though, and to discuss some other topics. And I want to bring Deborah in and talk a little bit about what we have here with this magazine.
Well, I just found out about this magazine. As much as I think I know about lifestyles, I guess I didn't know everything because I saw this on the table and I said, hey, a magazine with lifestyles? So first let me take my glasses off because with my glasses I'm really thinking about my mom. I looked in the mirror and I thought of my mama.
Aww.
I look like my mama. But anyway, back
It's
to
a blessing. It's a
it
blessing.
is. So the magazine, I was flipping through the magazine and I thought this is this is wonderful. Bringing information. This is where you can have businesses. It tells the story about the clients. We have so much in here. Sandy, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed at this magazine.
Well, the other, as we call the other DC, the other Deborah Carrington, put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this. And I think when she saw this hit the press, it was like, thank goodness that's over. And so we were able to get the magazine out just to share a little bit. I spoke about it. I don't know if it was on one of our other shows. We had the young man Elijah, who talked about raising funds. Elijah raised funds for Our Place. And I mentioned that we have an article in here from Our Place, one of our community partners, talking about the soup kitchen that they operate. And so many times with nonprofits, you hear that there's competition and there's, you don't talk about working with your partners. I have a mantra. My mantra is there is no competition in service.
No.
There are people out there that are in need and you're not competing with each other to serve the people. So we have always been, a faith-driven organization. And my feeling is that we need to do business in a Christ-like way. Mm-hmm. And to me, we show that by sharing with folks that it's okay to spotlight other people in our community. So you'll see in this issue of the magazine, we have spotlighted our partners. We've gotten contributing articles from other folks, and that's what we want to do. So you'll when you read this, just don't pick up the typos. As much as we go over things over and over again, they're there. We have a prize if you picked out all the typos.
Well, I was going to make that my challenge because coming from Sandy, do you think there's a typo in there? I need to see that. But you brought up faith, and without faith, we can't do anything. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the behind the scenes you don't get to see. And I just thought of this because you brought up Deborah Carrington, who your staff member who does a bunch of stuff. You have so many of them. Marilyn, you have Tammy. You can't leave out Tammy. You start naming people.
It's like the Oscars. You gotta
I
name.
just wanted to bring that up because without the behind the scenes, there will be no scene.
Sure.
And I just wanted to give those props. I know there's a whole list. I'll go down. They didn't name me, but we have so many shows to tape. You'll be named in there, trust me.
You know, Deborah, it's so interesting. You guys joked about how you got here, and if I called, you answer, which I appreciate. Nobody's blocked my calls yet.
And I normally call, I only answer when Jesus is calling.
Soon.
Yeah. But you know, it's kind of like what I've said to the people that work here, and I say work here, but they contribute their time. I say, as long as I'm following God, follow me. When I'm not, don't. But first, tell me I'm not, so I can change patterns. Let me know. Don't just leave me.
That's fair.
Let me know that it looks like you're going in the wrong direction. You need to turn that around. So I think when I look at all of that, and I look at the people that serve here, they serve. They don't serve because of the dollar amount. They serve because they have a passion and they see the vision and they want to make that happen. So the magazine is a vehicle that we use to get some of the information out. LifeStyles Live, you guys are a vehicle to do that. As we assembled this group, we talked about, the variety that we have here. We have decades apart. We're all decades apart. And being decades apart, we have different views and different opinions of what's going on. And we're all going through different things in our lives.
We all have a story.
And so hopefully that your story is going to help somebody else out there that's maybe in this, experiencing the same things, or giving hope to somebody that says, you know what, I can do that, or I can help out at LifeStyles, or I can, just wherever you fit in, to be able to do that. And that's what all of this is about, is to be able to share that, know that exists, and also have the faith to move forward. If someone had told me that this is where we would be, 25 years ago, that this is where we would be now, that we would be renovating a motel into housing, if we would be changing laws to open another shelter.
And even coming from your first building to this building. So
the where we are now is larger than this. The room that we're in now is larger than the entire organization of LifeStyles 24 years ago.
Wow.
The room we're in now. And so when I look at that, and I look at the fleet of buses, and I look at the people that we're transporting every day, that the shelters, do you realize that every single night that we're sheltering at least 70 to 80 people? Because we're not only sheltering from Safe Nights, we have the Robert J. Fuller House, we have Gail's house, we have Martha's Place. All of those places are filled with people. So every single night, everybody that is connected with us is sheltering that many people. That many lives are depending upon the services that we provide. And so I know there's more out there. I know there are more people with needs, and there are more people with solutions. Just like the Destination Imagination, those folks are building solutions. And with that, we know that we're going to do better.
And they're starting young.
They're
starting young.
Yes. So who's going to take us home tonight?
Jasmine.
Well, I'll take us home. And we thank you guys for joining us here today. Again, we're here to share hope, help, and transformation. We want to highlight the good that's going on in the community. And hopefully today you saw that. It comes in different ways. It's about helping people in need, but also working together. And so if you find it in your heart to come out and join us, we ask you. We're always looking for more volunteers, whether that's your time, whether that's contributing financially, whatever it is that you're led to do. We ask you to do it by faith. And remember, help, hope, and transformation begins with you. Subscribe below.